Hey, welcome back, Scrappin' friends. I'm Vanessa, and this is part 2 of the file folder album that we are making. Okay, I had told you 11 file folders. You actually need 12 because you need a file folder to cut the hinges out of, and then 2 of our hinges that go into our album. Okay, so it can be any folder, okay? Because what we're doing, we're just cutting hinges and things, and then what's left, if you want, cut tags out of it or whatever. Okay. And in the last off camera, I inked all my edges. Okay, that is just totally up to you. I like mine to be grunged up a little bit. Okay, so I went and inked all the edges. So if you're watching, you can just grab yours now and ink while you're watching. All right, so I'm just going to cut just right before the score line. Okay, and save this. This will be your scrap one. So on it somewhere on like this tab, you can put your scrap folder. Okay, and then that way you know that's the one you need to be cutting stuff from. Okay, so we're going to need 2 of these, and it's 3.5 by 11, so I need to cut it down. So again, where it starts to round off up here, I just cut that off and then flip it around and cut it off at 11. Okay, so you need 2 pieces at 3.5 by 11. So 3.5 by 11. Okay. Three and a half by 11. And you're going to need 2 of these. Okay. So now you can get your scoreboard out. And on the 3.5 inch side, you are going to score at 3/4. So score at 3/4, and then 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, and 2 3/4. And then at 3. Okay, so you're going to score at 3/4, 1 1/4, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 2 3/4, and then at 3. Okay. All right. So the 3/4 inch, that's what's going to attach to our book. All right. That is what's going to attach to our book. Okay, now we're going to get our score tape out, and we're going to apply a score tape to the first and second 1/2 inch. Okay, and I'm going to put mine over. I'm going to apply my tape to my bumpy side. So I'm applying tape to the very first 1/2 inch, very first 1/2 inch. And then you're going to apply tape right to the second 1/2 inch. Do this to both pieces, please. On the bumpy side, here's your 3/4. Here's your 3/4 inch. That's what's going to attach. So I'm putting my tape on the very first 1/2 inch. Okay. And then I'm going to apply tape to the next 1/2 inch. All right, just like that. Now what you're going to do, you're going to fold on this line right after this tape. Okay, see your tape? There's a score line right after that tape. What you're going to do is you're going to fold right on that and burnish. Do that to both pieces. That score line right after that second piece of tape. Okay, we're attaching these 2/2 inches to these 2/2 inches together. All right, so I'm going to take my tape off and attach. Then I'm going to pull back on that 3/4 inch. I'm going to fold back on that score line. Okay, we taped these 2/2 inches together. Now I'm folding back just like that. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing to the other one. I'm going to take off my tape. And then fold back. And that leaves us with a hinge. Okay, now you're going to burnish. Make sure you burnish this pretty good. It's going to be pretty stiff. Especially using the heavy duty ones, it will be pretty stiff. So give it a really good burnish. Okay. Now you have this 1/4 inch. You're going to fold that into your hinge that you just created. Okay. Just like that. Give that a good burnish. We're going to be attaching a page to this. This is a hinge. Okay. So you got 3/4. We glued or taped you have 2/2 inches and 2/2 inches. We put those together. That formed a hinge. Then you have 1/2 inch or 1/4 inch gusset, and then another hinge. Okay, another hinge. All right. So now I'm going to apply tape to my hinge, your double hinge there. And I'm going to apply tape closest to that folded edge on both sides. Okay, on both sides. And then we're going to taper so it allows for easier to put your page on, okay? And then you're going to taper just to that very first score, that very first 1/2 inch. We're not attaching the page to the whole hinge. We're only attaching the page to the very first 1/2 inch, okay? The other 1/2 inch is for decorations, and it's for purpose of the album not getting bulky in certain spots, okay? And I don't bend that. I just leave it. I wanted that 1/2 inch. I wanted this not to be bulky right at the very front of the hinge. That's my reasoning for my madness, okay? Now, you have your hinge. You have your other little single hinge here. You have your 3/4 inch. You're going to flip it to the back side. Now I'm going to apply my score pile tape to that back side of this hinge, because that's what's going to attach to our album. And I'm going to go right along the edge, and I'll show you. Okay. And then I'm going to get my 1/4 inch, and I'm going to, because I want tape on all this. I do not want this going anywhere. Okay. So here's our front side. We have our 3/4 inch. We have our hinge, 1/4 inch gusset, and our single hinge. You're flipping this over, and on the back side of that 3/4 inch, you are applying tape. Okay? Now I'm going to taper that 3/4 inch just up to your score line. And this is just for decorational purposes. You don't have to do this. We're just hiding kind of some of our construction. Okay? Let me look here. Can we go ahead and put tape on our... I was thinking we just done a single. So just a second. Okay, we'll wait to put tape on our other little hinge over here. Okay? So let's do the same thing to this one. Let's get this one all nice and burnished. Okay, now you have your 1/4 inch gusset there. We're going to fold right on that 1/4 inch gusset, and we have a single hinge now on there. We have our 1/4 inch gusset, and then we have that 1/2 inch. That is going to be a hinge that we are going to attach a page to. Okay. Like I said, I'm not folding that double hinge here. We're going to attach our page just to the very first single 1/2 inch. It's just for decorational purposes and to reduce bulkiness in certain spots of the album. Okay. Oh, and I ran out of 1/4 inch tape. Okie dokie, let me grab some here real quick. And I'm applying my tape closer to the folded edge. That way, if your page doesn't quite fit right on your hinge, you're not going to have tape showing. Okay? I'm going to cut that. Well, I'm just cutting the paper. I ain't cutting the sticky off. I'm applying it to the very first 1/2 inch, okay, or on the hinge top. All right. Now that's you got your 3/4, you have your double hinge, your 1/4 inch gusset, and your 1/2 inch. Okay, you're going to flip it over to the back side, and I'm now going to apply tape to the back side of that 3/4 inch. Okay, I'm going to apply my tape right along that score line. Okay. Just like that. Okay, now I'm going to taper my 3/4 inch, and you don't have to. This is just for decorational purposes. Now I'm going to taper my hinge just to that first score line. It just allows for easier page attachment. Okay. There we go. Now, you're going to grab your album. Oh, this all needs inked. So, I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to get these all inked, and I will be back in the next video, ladies. Okay, see you in a bit. Bye-bye.